Today, let us walk again in the north central parts of Nigeria. Let me tell you about a princess. Not just any princess, but Princess Inikpi, a lady who held back death. So far back in the land of Igala in Kogi State, when the drums are silent, after thrones are dust and monuments fade. People say the earth remembers and the soil keeps what history forgets. The red clay of Ida on the banks of the great Niger where gods once whispered to kings, a name that refused to be erased, a name called Inikpi. Unlike Princess Diana, she was no warrior in cloud of iron, not even a bearer of spear. But when death came like a shadow over her people, Inikpi was the one who stood in its path, barefooted. It began in a season when even the skies turned their faces away, the rain abandoned the earth, rivers thinned to whispers, trees withered, the air hung heavy with a fear that did not speak, but only waited. Westward, the Bini Empire advanced a tide of bronze helmets, ash-grey warriors, and poisoned blades, seeking blood. They razed cities without mercy, conquered kingdoms without remorse, and guess what? They were coming for a gala. Panic swept the kingdom like a plague. Markets emptied, mothers hid their children in fear, warriors sharpened spears already too old and too brittle. Ata Ayuba Omar Iduko, king of the Igala, once fierce as a lion, now sat haunted, a man chased by the doom he could not outrun. No army could stop Benin. Desperate, he went to the oracle, the shrine where the gods spoke in riddles and fire. The air thickened, the walls shuddered. The oracle's voice came not as a whisper, but a thunder from the depths of time. Here is what the god said to the king: to save the land must be fed not with gold, not with cattle, not with slaves, with what is most sacred. Silence heavy and cruel filled the shrine. Then came the name Inikpi. What? The king's words shattered. His daughter, his blood, his joy, the child who laughed like rainfall in Hamatan, the last gifts of his lost queen. With his face down, he could not breathe it aloud. The palace fell silent, no drums, no laughter, even the bed sank softer. At this point, questions ran through his mind like, how does a man bury the sun from his sky? But Inikpi knew. She saw the grief in the courtier's eyes. She heard the unspoken words hiding behind drawn curtains. And one calm evening, she walked to her father, her steps quiet but sure. Papa, she whispered, placing a hand on his trembling arm. Why do you carry a sorrow heavier than war? That must be a touching moment. He could not answer, but she had heard enough. She knelt. Is it true? To save our land, I must die. Tears down his eyes, he wept. He begged. He saw he would offer 1,000 slaves, burn his own palace to ash, flee with her to distant mountains. Anything but this. Her reply cut deeper than any blade. She asked her father, would you rather bury your people or your daughter? She smiled, soft as the last light of the day. Let me be the root that holds the soil. The day of the sacrifice came. The sky blended crimson. It was neither dawn nor dusk an hour caught between life and death. All of Igala gathered, faces bowed, tears unshed. Inikpi wore the royal cloth wrappers, fine as moonlight, beads like tiny suns around her waist and her wrist. Her hair was braided in the ancient way, the way queens wore before coronation or sacrifice. 9 maidens followed, each swearing loyalty beyond the grave. They walked in silence, a procession of sorrow, toward the sacred cave. Warriors lined the path, heads bowed, spears inverted. Elders whispered prayers, too broken to mend the hearts. Even the river held its breath. At the mouth of the cave, draped in white, she turned once, only once. Then she entered, the rocks were placed, the cave was sealed. No scream, no struggle, only silence. And then the rain came soft, heavy, and endless. They say the Bini warriors never reached Igala. Some say floods drowned their camps. Others say disease broke their armies. And some whisper that they heard a voice on the wind soft, firm, the voice of a maiden warning them to turn back. However, the tale is told. All we know is that Igala was saved, for salvation bore a name. Inikpi, she became more than a princess. She became spirit, a soil legend. If you enjoyed the story, please like, share, and leave a comment.